Hi viewers, welcome back to yet another exciting episode of Erongo Talk. My name is Michelina Watises and we're finding ourselves in the heart of Mondesa at the Independence Park. So as per usual, we'll provide you with some news, we'll bring you some weather insights, and Dr. Johan Kok, a physician here in Swakopmund, will be speaking to us about a lung disease known as COPD and obstructive airway disease, how that can be cured, as well as sleep apnea. So it's quite a broad spectrum, but he'll be giving us bit by bit for us to understand and the symptoms and cures and so forth. Today is Active Random Kindness Day, so let's all be kind. Stay tuned for the calendar day. We'll be right back after this. Now time for some news. Sanitation Center hopes to reduce open defecation in DRC. A sanitation center on the outskirts of Swakopmund's DRC informal settlement hopes to discourage the practice of open defecation and promote a more hygienic lifestyle. A small building comprising of a toilet, basin and kiosk was opened on the outskirts of Swakopmund's DRC informal settlement Vachtar community earlier this month. The building is a sanitation center and hopes are that the residents will make use of the facility and enjoy a more hygienic lifestyle instead of wandering into the nearby environment and defecating openly, an exercise which is not just humiliating in an established municipal area such as Swakopmund, but is also unhealthy and dangerous, especially to women and children. Figures presented by Development Workshop Namibia, known as DWN, indicate more than 50% of informal settlement residents in Namibia do not have access to toilet and defecate in riverbeds and other open spaces. The lack of sanitation makes both the prevention of hepatitis E and COVID-19 extremely challenging. DWN's project, Adam Dahalele, told Erongo 24/7 that volunteers have been working around in Vachtar doing house-to-house visits, sensitizing approximately 500 households about the dangers of open defecation and encouraging a better option. Build your own toilet and wash your hands. These facilities are for the community to make use of and also to learn from. Let us construct our own toilets and create an open defecation-free neighborhood, Dahalele encouraged. Moving on to our second story, residents told to remove illegal structures. The municipality of Walvis Bay issued a statement advising the public to remove an illegal, unauthorized and or unapproved structures and buildings and to seize illegal land use of property owned by the municipality before or on 31st March 2022. This includes illegal structures on or illegal uses of land reserved for streets, public open spaces such as parks, and municipal purposes. If the unauthorized land use is not stopped or the illegal structures are not removed by 31st March 2022, you will be guilty of an offense and, on conviction, be liable to a fine and or imprisonment in accordance with Section 51 of the Local Authorities Act and Section 130 of the Urban and Regional Planning Act, the municipality said in a statement. The municipality emphasized that paying a fine or being convicted does not mean the illegal structures and activities will remain. We will take all required measures to ensure illegal land use comes to an end and that illegal structures are removed from council-owned land. Walvis Bay Mayor Trifino Forbes also made it clear at a previous occasion that the council will not tolerate any land grabbing incidents. Wow, there you've had it. Moving on to our third and final story for today. Million invested. Regardless of the impact of COVID-19 had on the economy, the government, institutions, pension fund, GIPF, is seeing continual growth, and its more than $500 million Namibian dollar investments in Erongo are contributing to its ongoing success. GIPF has invested over $551 million into the region in 16 ventures, which include building supplies, manufacturing, water engineering, medical services, engineering, property development, land servicing, retail shopping, renewable energy housing, and warehousing. I must say GIPF is really tapping in all the areas. The fund's board of trustees paid courtesy calls to two of its unlisted investments project in Walvis Bay last week, while also promoting its $20 million housing development at Swakopmund. In Walvis Bay, Windsalt Manufacture and Etosha Fishing Corporation were visited. The GIPF invested $7 million into Windsalt, while an investment of over $27 million earned the fund a 30.1% shareholding in Etosha Fishing. The latter is home to Lucky Star canned pilchard and also cans Namibian horse mackerel under its own Efuta Masbanger brand. Windsalt produces a variety of nutritious salt blocks for the agricultural industry. GIPF CEO David Nyoma told Erongo 24/7 that the current economic climate created by COVID-19 was a high-risk period for investments, as markets are depressed and supplies are hard to come by. Because of this, some of GIPF's business struggled to start due to construction delays or the importing of equipment and technicians to install or commission plants. So that was it for today's news. Stay tuned, we'll be right back after this.
We're going to start with the COPD, and I've only got about 9 or 10 slides on COPD because things have changed a bit, and I think we see a lot of patients in our area, specifically Henties Bay and Swakop and Walvis Bay with COPD. And a lot of that has changed in the last few years with medication and with the way that we treat these patients. So we'll start with the COPDs, and then in between, please stop and ask questions if you want to. And then we'll go to obstructive sleep apnea, which I think is maybe even more important when it comes to lifestyle, when it comes to quality of life, specifically from an ENT perspective, from an internal medicine point of view. We miss a lot of these diagnoses. But the main thing now is really about symptoms, much more than what it was before, and not as much looking at specific FEV1s and spirometry readings. So they now have a specific score that you can look up on the internet. It's a CAT score between 10 and 35 or 45, and that all depends on what the symptoms are. And you categorize these patients according to the symptoms and according to exacerbations. So that is the main difference now compared to many years ago, where we all did the flow spirometry and then decide what medication to give these patients. And we see a lot of younger patients now with chronic obstructive airway disease because of lifestyle issues. So the main aim now is to relieve symptoms. We want to reduce symptoms, and we want to reduce the risk. Now this risk is basically the exacerbations and hospital admissions that we want to reduce. And we'll get to the treatment and the options that we have, which is a bit better compared to what it was. So remember now we've got group A, B, C, and D according to severity of symptoms. That would be the family of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, still categorized in group A, B, C, and D. Now if you start with a younger patient or the patient that first comes to see you about shortness of breath or symptoms, those are the patients that we start with a bronchodilator, any bronchodilator really that you think is best. And in the beginning, that would suffice. Normally they would be okay with a bronchodilator, depending on how severe the disease is. If we're happy with that, then we continue with that specific one. But if we're not, that becomes a class B or a group B patient. And that then is the following. So this is now where LABA or LAMA comes in. which is just a longer acting drug compared to the previous inhalers that we used. So you then choose between long-acting beta-2 agonists, which is LABA, or a long-acting muscarine antagonist, which is your anticholinergics. And this helped a lot since we started using these medications because they're longer acting. And the side effects, cardiovascular side effects, was much less. So if the patient is doing well on his initial bronchodilator, the group A patient, he stays on that whatever you choose. But if he is not well, or the symptom score is getting higher, that CAT score, or there's more hospital admissions and more exacerbations, then we need to step up to either LABA or LAMA or both. So now we must decide what is best for these patients. They have persistent symptoms, they have got more hospital admissions, more exacerbations, so the LAMA on its own was not good enough. That's the group C patient. Now often what happened in the past is we started with inhaled corticosteroids. So the inhaled corticosteroids after the 2017 GOLD initiative lost a lot of ground. So for the COPDs, they basically use the combination of LAMA-LABA much more often than combining with or inhaled corticosteroids. And one of the reasons was the risk of pneumonia with inhaled corticosteroids. Different story in asthma patients. And often that's a problem. If the diagnosis is not correct, if it is an asthma patient, they still do better with inhaled corticosteroids. The COPDs is a different disease. It's a different kettle of fish. So they do better with LAMA-LABA or the combination of the two. Now, if they still symptomatic and they still have more exacerbations, then one can consider the only other option then to have is to add an inhaled corticosteroid. There's one pharmaceutical company at the moment that's got a combination of LAMA-LABA, and that's the Ultibro. So it's a small device, it's a breezhaler, and we'll come to the devices in a few slides. But it is important what type of device, because of the deposition of the drug in the lung. So they try to refine these devices with every new drug that come on the market. So it was first the inhaler, and then there was an actuator, there was a turbuhaler, the one that you turn at the bottom and then inhale the powder. And the latest one now with the combination LAMA-LABA is the breezhaler. So that is a capsule that you put in a small device, you puncture the capsule and then inhale. So you want to get the deposition of the chemical, whatever you use, as good as possible into the smaller airway. And according to them, the breezhaler does that the best. So the only one that I'm aware of at the moment in Namibia, combination LAMA-LABA, is the Ultibro. Patients do well. The side effect, I think, is still the issue with the funding. But most of the medical aids would fund that at the moment. And I think a lot of those patients stop using a lot of the other inhalers and other medications when they start using the combination. So that would be the group C patient that still has symptoms and exacerbations. And that then there on the side is when you have to decide as an alternative, are we now going to switch from a long-acting beta-2 agonist plus your anticholinergic? Are you going to switch from that to the beta agonist plus inhaled corticosteroid? The side effect or the issue is that you must just remember, statistically significant data showed more bacterial pneumonias with the inhaled corticosteroids. So that was the issue, and that's why they actually preferred not to use the inhaled corticosteroid too often, if we can at all avoid it. So the patients that we normally see in hospital or that get referred to us will all be these patients in category D. So they started with their bronchodilators, they then switched to long-acting inhalers, and they're still symptomatic. The problem is most of them are still smoking. So as long as that happens, then most of our LAMA, LABAs, steroids or whatever we want to use is not really very effective. And if we admit them in a hospital, there's a corridor between medical and surgical ward, a piece of grass. They all sit there on that piece of grass and smoke. So that is a major issue still. The lifestyle issue is still very important. If they continue with the smoking, it is in any case impossible to reverse the emphysema pathology. But you can at least get it a bit better, and quality of life can be a bit better if they change that. Even if they stop at 80, that makes a difference, but very few will do that. Especially now after the COVID, a lot of patients now have nebulizers or oxygenators or some form of oxygen supply at home. And the severe COPDs actually do worse with a lot of oxygen. So you take their drive away if you make the oxygen flow too high. And often the partner at home would see this guy or the wife is not breathing properly, and they increase the oxygen flow, which often takes that drive away and makes it worse. So if they need oxygen, 1 to 3 liters per minute is normally good enough, and we try to give it to them only 6 to 8 hours at night time. But it is a major therapeutical issue because there's just not enough lung function. And they'll go from doctor to doctor because they still don't feel well, but they would carry on smoking. So I think the message is just try to get away from the inhaled corticosteroids or systemic steroids even on a chronic basis. But if it's an acute exacerbation, that's a different story. They often need antibiotics and they need cortisone initially to just get them better. The sleep tests are mainly now home-based, so it's easier for the patients. People go out and do the sleep test at home. Obviously not with the EEG or the EOG, which is an electronic oculograph, where they look at the retina and the macula to look at REM sleep. So we don't do all of that, but at least if you can see what the airflow is and the apnea index is, you can get a very good idea whether these patients do have obstructive airway disease, and if one can help them with CPAP masks. So what would the treatment be? Get the partner to sleep first, because they will tell you that once the snorer sleeps first, they just can't sleep. And it becomes a bigger social problem than just a medical problem. And it can be quite disruptive for the family. A lot of them, younger people, would complain and come to see us before they bring the patient in, because they're not aware of it. And the rest of them can't sleep. So you need to get them to sleep first, and then obviously they can use the plugs, but you must be careful. It's up to them where they want to put the plug. Yeah, but this is a major problem. So the goal is to resolve the signs and symptoms, to improve the quality, to normalize that apnea-hypopnea index and the saturation levels, to raise your intropharyngeal pressure and decrease the closing pressure. So that is the goal, is just to get the oxygen flow better and get the saturations better. And often snoring is alcohol related as well. So a lot of patients would not have any snoring, and after a few bottles of wine, specifically red wine, the snoring is much worse. And I'm still not sure why that is, but there's a definite association between red wine consumption and snoring, but not necessarily apnea. But the partners will tell you exactly about the apnea.
Yeah, but it's usually the partners that eat supper, it's not me.
Yeah, that is so. That is so. It's the partner that will come to you and tell you, you must now do something, or otherwise I'm going to do something.
This week on Erongo Talk, we visit the tranquil Sandwich Harbour. The Sandwich Harbour Lagoon is one of Southern Africa's richest and unique wetlands and one of 5 Ramsar sites in Namibia. Sandwich Harbour boasts 2 distinct wetlands and associated mud flats. One is aquifer-fed and supports typical emergent vegetation but is slowly disappearing due to natural causes. The second, undertidal influence, consists of mud flats and raised shingle bars. Wedged between the sea and the Namib dunes, it is one of Namibia's most important coastal wetlands, supporting 8 endangered species along the large numbers of wading birds. Several sites dating back 1,000 years exist within the site. Human activities have included fishing, guano collection, and hunting. The dunes of Sandwich Harbour is perfect for a lookout spot to look over the ocean and the dunes, and they also serve for some exhilarating dune driving. Sandwich Harbour, right here on Erongo Talk. And now for your weather and tides. For Walfish Bay, maximum temperature for Thursday 24 degrees Celsius, and for Friday a minimum of 19 and a maximum of 24 degrees Celsius is expected. A westerly wind of 9 kilometers per hour will prevail on Thursday. Sunset is expected at 20 minutes to 8 Thursday evening, and then sunset at 8 minutes to 7 Friday morning. For your tides, high tide 7 minutes past 4, low tide 2 minutes past 10 Thursday morning, high tide will be at 17 minutes past 4 Thursday afternoon, and then low tide again at 10 minutes past 10 Thursday evening. For Swakopmund, maximum temperature for Thursday 24 degrees Celsius, for Friday a minimum of 19 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 23 degrees Celsius is expected. A westerly wind of 9 kilometers per hour will prevail on Thursday. Sunset is expected at 20 minutes to 8 Thursday evening, and then sunrise at 8 minutes to 7 Friday morning. For your tides, high tide 8 minutes past 4 Thursday morning, 2 minutes past 10 Thursday morning, and high tide again at 18 minutes past 4 Thursday afternoon, and then low tide at 10 minutes past 10 Thursday evening. For Henties Bay, maximum temperature for Thursday 24 degrees Celsius, for Friday a minimum of 20 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 24 degrees Celsius is expected. A southwesterly wind of 11 kilometers per hour will prevail on Thursday. Sunset is expected around 20 minutes to 8 Thursday evening. Sunrise at 6 minutes to 7 Friday morning. For your tides, high tide 10 minutes past 4 Thursday morning, 4 minutes past 10 Thursday morning. High tide will then again be at 20 minutes past 4 Thursday afternoon, and then low tide 12 minutes past 10 Thursday evening. Moving inland to Aranda's maximum temperature for Thursday 32 degrees Celsius. For Friday, a minimum of 19 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 30 degrees Celsius is expected. A west-southwesterly wind of 9 kilometers per hour will prevail on Thursday. Sunset is expected at 22 minutes to 8 Thursday evening, and then sunrise at 9 minutes to 7 Friday morning. For Usakos, maximum temperature for Thursday 36 degrees Celsius. For Friday, a minimum of 19 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 35 degrees Celsius is expected. The east-northeasterly wind of 9 kilometers per hour will prevail on Thursday. Sunset is expected around 25 minutes to 8 Thursday evening, and sunset 11 minutes to 7 Friday morning. For Karibop, a maximum temperature of 34 degrees Celsius for Thursday. For Friday, a minimum of 19 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 35 degrees Celsius is expected. The east-northeasterly wind of 11 kilometers per hour will prevail on Thursday. Sunset is expected around 26 minutes to 8 Thursday evening, and sunrise at 12 minutes to 7 Friday morning. For Omaruru, maximum temperature for Thursday 34 degrees Celsius, and then for Friday a minimum of 19 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 35 degrees Celsius is expected. The east-northeasterly wind of 9 kilometers per hour will prevail on Thursday. Sunset is expected around 27 minutes to 8 Thursday evening, and then sunrise at 12 minutes to 7 Friday morning. And that concludes your weather report for Thursday and Friday.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah, welcome to another exciting edition.
Unfortunately, we've come to the end of our episode for today, but fear not, we'll be right back with you tomorrow, same time, but definitely not the same place. So if you'd like to read the stories I read today and many more, you can visit our website on www.erongo.com.na. I repeat, www.erongo.com.na. And if you'd like to send us clips or you'd like to send pictures, please don't hesitate to contact our WhatsApp and Telegram number, which is 08117040. I repeat, 08117040. We also have a brand new email just for news tips, so you can share your news tips at newstips@erongo.com.na. I repeat, newstips@erongo.com.na. We also have our online TV channel, so if you'd like to watch it, head over to oneup2.com. I repeat, oneup2.com. And I will still brag about this over and over again. We are finally on DSTV and GoTV. So for for DSTV, the channel is 285, where you can watch not just Erongo Talk, but all the other channels that NMH offers. And for GoTV, channel 94. So take your remotes and press 285 for DSTV and 94 for GoTV. From myself and I, it's a bye. We'll see each other again next time. Stay safe.